In this section, we take a look at the CSS properties that are available to help us manipulate our lists. We will be controlling the type, the position, and the images that are used for our list items. We will also be transforming a couple of different lists into other HTML elements. Specifically in this movie, we will be seeing the options we have available to control the different aspects of a list item, including how to control what type of bullet is used and whether that bullet is placed inside or outside of the indented text region. In order to control both the type and the position of our list elements, we will need to use two separate properties. And those properties are the list style type and the list style position. So list style type is going to allow us to control what type of bullet is used or what type of numbering sequence is used, depending on the nature of what value we put in here. And then the list style position will allow us to designate whether or not the bullet will be inside the indented text region or outside of it. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at our options for the list style type. Now, as you can see, there are quite a few of these that CSS will make available to us. Now, what you'll see with the list style type is not only do we have our traditional bullets of the disk, the circle, and the square, but we're also going to have access to our numbering sequences as well. So the first item that we see here is the none option. The none option is going to make our list unbulleted or unmarked. So it will remove any type of marker that we may have with our list. Our disk would be the default unordered list option that we tend to see, which is going to be a filled in circle. The circle is actually a hollow circle, just showing an outline of the outer edge of the circle. The square will be a square, and that's all of our bullets. The rest of these are some other type of numbering sequence that you would traditionally have applied to an ordered list. Now, it is possible for you to use an ordered list numbering sequence on an unordered list. However, for clarity and simplicity's sake, you should probably go ahead and match them up appropriately to the type of list that you would really be using. So here we have the decimal. Decimal will allow us to do numbering such as 1.1. Decimal leading 0 will allow us to do numbering such as 01.1. Lower Roman and Upper Roman may be familiar to you already, using the Roman numerals with I being 1, II being 2, II being 3, and so forth. The Lower Roman will have those in lowercase, and the Upper Roman will have those in uppercase. Then we have our lower alpha and our upper alpha, and those are going to be upper and lowercase versions of the traditional English alphabet. Now, the remainder of our options here are going to be more or less regional elements that you may or may not be familiar with. So here we have such things as Lower Greek and Lower Latin and so forth. So if you do need to use these, then by all means, please do. They are available to you for your use. So that takes care of our list style type. The next thing we have is our list style position. So as I've said multiple times so far, the inside value for our position will make it so that the bullet will actually be on the inside of the indented text for the actual content for the list item. Outside is what you are probably used to, because that will have your list marker outside of the indented text region for the content of that list item. Now, we will be seeing this in use in an upcoming section here whenever we jump into our sandbox. But I do want to point out one last thing before we go over to the sandbox and put some of this into use, and that is our marker offset. You may end up running into this whenever you're looking at documentation for lists. However, it is no longer part of the specification. So in general, you should probably avoid trying to use it, and actually in most browsers, they don't even support this marker offset. So don't waste too much time trying to use this. Now what it was supposed to do was it was supposed to allow us to control how much space there was between our list item marker or bullet and the actual list item content. So that takes care of our list type and list position that we're going to be using in our sandbox. So let's go ahead and jump over to our sandbox here. And we're going to set up some styles, and we're going to manipulate our content here. So I'm going to set up two classes. And I'm going to call each one styled item. And the first one is styled item 1. And the second one will be styled item 2. And I'm going to set up list dash style dash type and set that to square. And then I'll set up the list dash style dash position and set that to inside. And because most of this is going to be repeated here, I'll go ahead and fix that typo there. And then I will copy this and I will paste it down below and then set up list styled item 2. I'm going to change the list style to lower Greek, and I will set this to outside. Now before I apply those, it looks like I do have a spelling mistake here. Let me go ahead and fix that. And because I copied and pasted, it ended up being in two different places. So I'm going to jump down here and I'm going to apply my classes here to the first two items so that we can see them side by side. So I do class styled item 1. And then just to save some typing, I'll go ahead and copy that, paste it in there, and set that up to number 2. So I'll save my work, then jump over to my browser where I already have the sandbox pulled up, which of course was from the sandbox folder, the folder 10, and then sandbox. I'll go ahead and refresh here, and I see the big difference. So this first one is a square, and the position was set to inside. So notice how it lines up with the rest of our list item contents. And then the second one is using the lower Greek, and it's set to outside. So as you can see, it is outside of that indented text region. Now that concludes our quick look at our bullets and positioning for lists.